After his victory over the weekend over Roman Dolidze, Anthony Hernandez moves up 3 spots to number 7 position. Roman Dolidze drops 2 spots to number 11. Anthony Hernandez overtakes Robert Whittaker and Jared Cannonier in the rankings as well. So a lot of former title challengers moving towards the bottom of the rankings, like Whittaker, Cannonier, Paulo Costa, and Marvin Vettori. Anthony Hernandez is an interesting addition to the top of the division at 185 pounds. Him taking on Strickland next could be an interesting stylistic matchup. A guy who pushes the pace with the wrestling and grappling like Hernandez against a guy who pushes the pace with the striking like a Strickland. Hernandez could also take on an Adesanya or a De Ridder. Adesanya may not have the wrestling defense and grappling defense and 25-minute cardio to win a decision against Anthony Hernandez, but Rainier De Ridder could be an interesting matchup because he has a very unorthodox style. His grappling is quite good, and part of his takedown defense, I think, would be just spamming 1,000 knees to the body. So that is possibly an interesting matchup they could also do at 185. The whole fate of the division will be determined on Saturday. DDP versus Hamzat for the middleweight belt. Hamzat looking to win the title, and DDP looking to give Hamzat his first loss. And next month, the next title challenger will be determined when Imamov takes on Bahayo. That's September 6th. That's the main event of UFC Fight Night Paris. So overall, it's interesting times for the middleweight division with new title challengers with Imamov, Bahayo, Hamzat, De Ridder, and Anthony Hernandez. One other change in the rankings after the fight event over the weekend is Lucindo moved up 1 spot in the strawweight rankings to number 7. She has won 5 of her last 6 fights. She beat Angel Hill by decision over the weekend. Vicente Luque will be taking on Santiago Ponzinibbio at UFC Rio October 11th. Luque is coming off a loss to Kevin Holland, while Ponzinibbio is coming off a loss to Daniel Rodriguez. This card's headlined by Oliveira versus Fiziev. Tom Aspinall says he's not interested in fighting John Jones at the White House card next year on July 4th. The world should not be either, is what Tom Aspinall says. What's the point? It's just false hope. So he takes a different approach than, like, say, a Michael Chandler who chased Conor McGregor till the end of time. He's not going to do that with John Jones. He knows it's false hope. But he will be fighting Cyril Gane October 25th in Abu Dhabi. That's the main event. And the winner of that fight will take on the winner of Volkov versus Jalton Almeida, which is also on that card, October 25th in Abu Dhabi. Garrett Armfield says the ESPN deal was $1.5 billion over 7 years. Paramount Plus, $7.7 billion over 7 years. Does this change anything for the fighters? He asks. It probably doesn't. I mean, it's good for the UFC, but they don't share any of that 7.7 bill with the fighters, so it's not going to really change anything for them. It might actually make it worse for some fighters because now there's no pay-per-views, so there's no pay-per-view points. So they don't have to pay that out anymore. The UFC will probably come out with some other bonus system for champions, but obviously they're going to keep that expense at a minimum. So it probably doesn't really change anything for fighters. They might get more exposure on Paramount Plus, maybe 3 times as many subscribers as ESPN Plus, but they can build their following a little bit more, but they don't have the ability to put sponsors on their shirt or shorts or anything like that. So they don't benefit with that. So in summary, probably really good for the UFC. For the fighters, doesn't really change that much. Another interesting aspect of this whole pay-per-view points and champions thing is that in the past, even today, like, becoming the champ is the goal because you get the belt, you're number 1 in the world, but also you start getting big money after that. You're able to get a percentage of the pay-per-view sales. So with pay-per-view being gone, some people wonder, like Chris Weidman, will that change the dynamic of what people aspire to do in the sport? Chris Weidman was recently telling MMA Junkie the goal was always to become a champ, because when you become a champion, you get a percentage of the pay-per-view buys, and that's how you make real money, the retirement type of money as a UFC fighter. I'm curious on seeing if this goes away, and that's not the big goal for fighters anymore. Maybe it's something else, or maybe being a champion isn't the number 1 goal. It might just be about getting the most views, and the world we're in now, becoming as famous as possible on social media with the streaming stuff and like that. Or is a new bonus and elements going to give you a perk to become a champion? You're going to get paid more as a champion, even if you're not a big name champ. But is it monster numbers like we've seen in the past? For the UFC, this is a great opportunity to cut costs. Now they have a chance to just restructure, some of their finances that they give to fighters and, change it in a way so they can actually pay less money to the top tier guys and the champs. It will be interesting to see what system they do set up for fighters, because, you know, without the pay-per-view money coming in for some fighters, that's going to be a big chunk of money gone for them. Do they give them more money up front? Do they have some other system? It'll be interesting to see what they do. But Dana White also tells Eric Richter of the New York Post that pay-per-view is not dead. Dana says that he leaves the door open for pay-per-view sales in the UFC during the CBS deal. But he may also be saying that because he has 5 more pay-per-views to sell this year. But more than likely, no more pay-per-views starting next year for 7 years. Starting in January, Paramount to exclusively air 13 marquee numbered events and 30 fight nights. Select marquee fights will be simulcast on CBS. For sure, that White House card next year on July 4th will be one of those cards shown on CBS. All events included with Paramount Plus subscription at no extra cost. But will the cost of a Paramount Plus subscription go up? Most people think it will. Also, Dana White's Contender Series returns tonight for a new season, and some people are wondering how that factors into the new Paramount Plus CBS deal. Apparently, Dana White's Contender Series and Road to the UFC and The Ultimate Fighter are not included in the CBS deal. Some people assume that those will be on UFC Fight Pass, but apparently the UFC are actively looking for a home for those 3 entities. Most expect DDP to get taken down by Khamzat Chimaev, and quickly, because anybody Khamzat tries to take down gets taken down in under a minute. John Phillips, 5 seconds. Reese McKee, 14 seconds. Jing Liang, 13 seconds. Gilbert Burns, 56 seconds. Kevin Holland, 3 seconds, but that was after a fake glove touch. Kamaru Usman, 30 seconds. Robert Whittaker, 18 seconds. The only opponent not on this list is Gerald Meerschaert. That's the only guy in the UFC Khamzat Chimaev did not try and take down, but Meerschaert was taken down with a punch, knocked out in 17 seconds. So DDP knows the takedown attempt is coming, and it's coming very quickly in the first round. So does he just spam uppercuts, try flying knees to contend with that, or just allow the takedown, try and get back up in the first round? It'll be interesting to see what DDP does, because the way he fights is kind of wild and unpredictable and a style to his own, so his defense will be quite an interesting thing to watch, especially in the first round where a big storm from Khamzat is always coming. The fight before Khamzat's fight on Saturday is the co-main event between Lerone Murphy and Aaron Pico at 145 pounds. Originally, Pico was supposed to fight Evloev, so that didn't happen, so Murphy replaces Evloev and takes on Pico. Arnold Allen was apparently offered this fight against Aaron Pico, but he turned it down. When it was pitched to Arnold Allen, he was told that it would be a title eliminator fight, so he assumes that this will be a title eliminator fight.
Undefeated British guy, Lerone Murphy, looking to take on, he is taking on Aaron Pico in short notice. I think it was about 2-3 week notice. This was offered to me, and they were, it was told as a title eliminator, so I imagine it would still be booked as a title eliminator fight. Mosbar was initially meant to be in it.
Some people wondering why Arnold Allen just didn't take the fight, because it is a title eliminator fight. Some people question, did this guy Allen get hit by a bomb, or why is he taking so long to fight? And others think they should just give the title shot to Movsar Evloev and feel he's deserving. Just give it to Movsar. It's crazy. They're trying to protect Volk so he can retire champ, and I'm sure even Volk doesn't want that special treatment. I think he beats Movsar anyways.